Okay, so in this video, right, I'll be demonstrating how to model a gaming chair, slightly different than the first chair that I modeled. Right, so these are the pictures that I've collected from the Secret Labs website, and the two images that I'm going to be using for my main reference within Maya is the front view and the side view, okay, because it shows the proportions very clearly, and other images, right, close up of the chair, which I can use for detailing. So first, I'm going to right mouse click on the front view and open it with Photoshop. And take note that these images are not square. So we have to change the, now I'm going to compile both the front and side view together, just like what I did for the mouse. So preparing the reference is always very important. Okay, so right now I have the front view. Now I'm going to increase the canvas size so that there's another additional 50% to the side. So go to image. Okay, still waiting for Photoshop to load. Okay, go to image, then go to canvas size, then click on anchor point to the side, and then we are going to double. You can go to percentage. We're going to double the width, right, to 200%, so that we have an extra space here which you can paste the side view. So go over to the side view, right mouse click on it, and then open with Photoshop as well. Okay, then we can press Ctrl A to select all, Ctrl C to copy, then go over here, the front view, tab, and then press Ctrl V to paste the side view. I'll try one more time, Ctrl C here to copy, and then Ctrl V. Right, so now I have my side view brought in. Right now I just want to align and make sure that the images, right, are lined up properly. So the top view is slightly off because this side view is taken with a slight perspective. That is fine. The handrest, right, looks about correct. Then the wheels are in the correct position. So actually, this is actually lined up. Okay, the issue why this thing looks a bit taller is because of perspective issues taken by the camera. So I think this is good enough for me. I will now change the overall canvas into an image, or rather a square. So canvas size, I'm going to change it 962. Copy the long distance, Ctrl C, and paste over the short distance. And so we'll end up with a square image. Now the backdrop is transparent. I want to create a white color backdrop, so I'm going to create a new layer. Drag the layer to the bottom, and then use the paint bucket tool, which is under your gradient tool, paint bucket tool. And then just fill the layer 3, right, the backdrop to white. Okay, so now I have the reference. I'm going to shift the reference right to the center. Okay, so this is the center line. Dragging the guidelines right from the ruler by simply clicking on the ruler and then dragging out. Then gonna just reposition these guidelines right in the center. It should set to the center. Yeah, like that. So I want to position this a little bit more to the right. For the right image, select the layer. You can use your cursor key, holding down the shift right to increase the amount. Then the front view, just shift it a little bit to the center a bit. Okay, so now everything is centralized. I can now save this image or quick export it. Put it inside my chair reference folder in my source images project folder. Call this Secret Lab chair, gaming chair reference, REF, then save. So with the image saved, user step is to create a plane with only 1 by 1 subdivisions, then scale it up, and then right mouse click, attach a new material, surface shader. Okay, go over to the out color, click on file, and locate the chair reference, then find the picture, press number 6 on your viewport to see the image. Okay, so now we can use this image for our lineup. So first, for the we don't have a top view, so we're just going to rotate this image 90 degrees first. Hold down J, rotate this 90 degrees. Then press E to rotate. We're going to hold down to Shift so we can duplicate another. Okay, I duplicated another, so I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees in the y-axis as well, and then move this to the back. Now this one for the front, I'm just going to move this until it cuts in the center line here like that. Then in perspective view, I'm going to push this to the back, just like what we did for the airplane. We're just going to do some lineup first. Now these two references right now, I'm going to grab both of them and move them up so that the wheels, right, are touching the base of the thickest grid line. Okay, so that's what's happening. So the side view, I'm just going to move it until it cuts in the center hydraulic post. Okay, front view, adjust until it is cutting the center of the hydraulic post. Okay, now we can trim the image. So go to face mode, use multi-cut, and then split the two. My symmetry is on, I'm going to turn it off. Middle mouse click, split this into half. Delete away the side view for the front view reference, and then for the side view, go to face selection mode, multi-cut, middle mouse click, then press Q, select this front view, and then delete it away. So now we have our references set up. Select both of them in object mode, and then click on this button to add into the layer button, and then we call this chair ref. Then click save. Then click on the button here to make it into a reference layer, so that I will not be able to select or move them. Okay, so now let's start to block out the chair first. Okay, so instead of building the multiple posts out first, I'm just going to create a couple of cubes, and I'm going to start with the cushion for this chair first. Alright, so first I'll start with creating a cube. Okay, and from this cube, right, I'm going to try to construct the seat cushion from the reference. Okay, I'm going to go to full screen view, go to front view, and just roughly position the cube in the center here. Now, since we're going to be using mirror modeling, right, I'm going to split this cube into half. So, holding down to control, middle mouse click, press Q to select, right mouse click, go to face selection mode, select half of the faces and delete them. Right, and then we're just going to work with half of this model. Now, you can use the duplicate special, edit duplicate special, then use the scale, reset the settings here, create an instance, then scale along the x-axis -1, and duplicate special, so that we can monitor how our object looks like. Then later we're going to use the mirror in mesh, right, to join the two halves together. Okay, once we are done with this reference. So first I'm going to widen the chair here in component mode. Then we're going to see how many segments there are. There's a side cushion here, so later I'm going to insert one edge loop here. So I need this to be a bit thicker. Go to vertex mode, select the bottom vertex, and then move it down. You can click on this button here to go to X-ray view, so that we can see a little bit better how much we should go. Okay, and then go to side view, and we can see that this part needs to go over here. This part needs to go over here. Now, because of the perspective distortion, right, this part of the chair seems a little bit lower. So I'm going to temporarily unlock the layer. Okay, and then so that I can move this down, so that it's lined up with the bottom here, just a little bit like that. Okay, so I'm going to lock it again. Alright, so now this makes more sense. Okay, so the cushion, right, extends all the way behind, and then it extends out like that. Alright, so this is just blocking out the basic shape first, and this bottom here, I'm going to pull it out a little bit. Alright, there's a, just temporarily turn off the X-ray. There's a slide section that goes up this way. So I'm going to split this section by including another section here. Now you can also jump out to take a look at other pictures, okay, where we can see the chair from a higher elevation. Okay, so I can see what this is all about. So the center part is mostly flat, only have the side, right, that is slightly raised like this, with this unique shape and stitching. So now that I know the shape, what it looks like, so I want to create the section, right, that rises up. So I'm going to put 2 edge loops around here. Press Q to select, go to side view again, and then we're going to go to vertex mode, move, and roughly get it to match the shape here. Now the cushion, right, the side extension stops around here, so I will insert one more edge loop. Shift right mouse click and insert one more edge loop here. Okay, bring this down. So this part here also extends out a little bit, so I'm going to insert one more edge loop here, and then select the edge loop, press Q, then use scale to flatten this. Go over to vertex, right, and then move this forward. Alright, so now we have the extension to pull out the side of the cushion. So let's see the front view. How much does it rise up? You can see that the extension go up this way, and there is a corner, right, that flows around this way. So I'm going to follow this section that flows this way. So I'll pull this to this side here, this one to this side here, and this one all the way here, this one all the way here. Okay, so now I want to insert one more edge loop right about here. So this edge loop, right, allows me, I'm going to select this whole group here and pull it down so I can form the cushion like so. So I'm going to straighten these loops like that. So take a look at our cushion so far. Okay, so far so good. Right, maybe this section here I want to pull back these these 3 group of vertices, just pull back a little bit so that there has a rounded look over here like that. Okay, you can press number 3 right now and see what happens subdivided. And you can see that the general shape of the cushion is coming along just fine. Okay, so if I want to add like a much harder edge, you can see like this is almost like a bevel here, along here and here. It seems that there's an edge, right, that curves inwards. Okay, then I'll have to do some edge reflow. Okay, so that means, right, this section here, I want it to, from this face, I want to flow it over to this one. Let's see how can I get it to reflow. Because right now you can take a look at this face group, right, it's flowing along this way. But if you take a look at this section here, it flows down this way. Okay, that is the illusion that I want to create. So maybe this edge here, I'll just push it inwards like that, just to approximate the shape. Yeah, I think that's one look good enough for me. And the back, maybe I want to taper it inwards. Okay, for whatever reason, right, I think I have accidentally moved this object here. So let me go to edit, delete away this one first, and do a duplicate special again. Okay. Okay, I think I'm happy with the cushion as it is right now. I can refine it further by adding edge loop right about here just to tighten the corners. If you press number 3 here, you can see that now there's a edge that is much more obvious. Then if you want the tops here to be much more what I call that more obvious, right, then we have to apply a bevel that runs across here. Okay, maybe this edge, and this edge, not this one, and not this one at the bottom. Okay, maybe we'll keep it at this one. So I'm going to apply a bevel so that right now if I press number 3, You can see that there we have a section like that. Then we have some pinching problem here because we have this weird multi-sided face, which I'm trying to kind of fix by joining this vertex here. You can see that we have multi-sided face here. So I'm going to use my toolbox, modeling toolbox, use the target well from this vertex to this vertex. Click and drag, press enter. Oops. Okay, now it is welded. Let's press number 3 and see what it looks like. Okay, slightly better. Okay, but I still have the pinching. It's because of the triangular face. So I can fix this by inserting one edge loop here. Okay, actually no, we cannot insert the edge loop because it's going to run all the way across. So what I'm going to do is cut from here to here, then all the way to here, then press enter. Then we now can get rid of this edge. Okay, since it's only one edge, I can just delete this. And if I press number 3 now we got rid of that nasty pinch. Problem right now is that this area here looks a bit too tight. So I'm going to select this edge over here and slide it down. Slide this edge and then go over to slide edge 2, middle mouse click and drag it down a little bit. Then this one, slide it back a little bit. I only want the strong edge to be around here. So if I subdivide now this area here is much rounder and it's not so hard edged. And also these vertices here are jutting out a little bit too much. So select these vertices here, press W, push it back. And put it back down here. So just to soften the corners here. So right now, after subdivision, this edge looks slightly better, but still it can be a bit better. Let's go to vertex here and see whether we can push them back. Okay, maybe this area I'm going to push it back a little bit and see whether that improves the look. Yep, much better. Okay, so now we can proceed on to the other parts of the chair. Okay, what about the back cushion here? So this back cushion here looks formidable as well. So we will create another cube to do the back cushion. So this one is the bottom cushion. Now I'm going to create another cube. So same thing, split the cube into half and then press Q, select half and delete it away and apply a duplicate special. Duplicate special only works in object mode. Alright, so we already set the duplicate special to duplicate in the x-axis, that's why I just applied it straight away. Alright, so next for the back support, we're just going to grab the cube. Make sure you grab both the object and the duplicate, and then just going to start from here. And I'm just going to do a basic blocking first. So it's going to extend all the way here. So I will select the two top vertices and just drag it all the way up here first. Just going to do our blocking action. Just going to taper it down. Go to the front view. Grab the central vertices. Remember, this is just a cube only. I'm going to extend it until it reaches right to the center line here. Okay, because remember, if we can see the top view, right, these sides here are sticking out. So if we go over and look at the x-ray, I'm going to insert one cut here, right about here, and maybe right about one here, because there's a band that goes inside here, and then maybe one more right here. Alright, now we can go over to face selection mode. Select these faces and we're going to extrude them out. So go and extrude, pull it out, then I'm going to push these vertices back slightly. This one back a little bit, this one back a little bit here. And remember, it's cupping forward, so this one, right, we have to go over to the top view and we have to grab the faces at the edge, okay, which was still selected because I've extruded them. I'm going to rotate them forward like this, then pull them downwards like that, so that it is cupping forward, just like the side reference. So just going to push this forward just a little bit. This particular face here is jutting way much more forward, and I think we are now roughly have the reference right matched. This section here, maybe just grab the face and then pull it back a little bit. Okay, so this section actually juts out a little bit more, so I want to insert one more edge loop, maybe right about here. Then go over to select the edge, press W and push forward. Okay, so you can see the basic shape is coming along just fine. Let's take a look at the object. Now, there's one issue about the X-ray sometimes which is quite annoying. When you do X-ray view, you also suppress the color of the reference, and it makes it very hard to see. So there's another alternative to X-ray, which was used for a long time before this X-ray function is available. That is, you adjust the opacity of the material. So I'm going to assign this new material, just a normal Lambert, and then go over to the Lambert material attributes. Go to Lambert material. Let's just give it a name so that we know what this is. We're going to call this the X-ray material, and then I'm going to give it a color that we can see through easily, maybe a light blue. Okay, and then after that, in the transparency, we can just jack it up. So by adjusting the transparency, we can still see through the model, but then we are not affecting our reference. So sometimes I'll prefer to use this method instead of okay, see, I can bring the transparency down until I can see the details of my reference. All right, so I recommend that you give this a try. So right now I can see I can move my vertices so that it matches the seam lines of my chair cushion. So over here I need to insert one more edge loop because I see an extra seam line over here which I need to push and attach. This one should be closer here, this one here, and the bottom one should taper inwards, just like that. Okay, this one seems to flow backwards like that, so I'm just going to follow the design. Okay, so now you can look at the back here, the back portion. Make sure you select the correct vertices and then push it back so you can follow the same angle and inclination of the chair. Okay, this one I think I'm messing up. Make sure I select only the back vertices, yeah, and then push this back. Go to the front view again, this group of vertices, and you can see that this roughing out, right, is coming along just fine. Okay, still got one more edge loop I want to cut here. Then select the outer edge loops. Make sure that I'm selecting only the outer and not the inner or the sides. Then push this out. You can see my workflow. I gradually add detail. You don't suddenly add too much detail, right? Later you will not be able to follow the design of the chair. Okay, so right now we want to try to add a bit of edge loops to control the subdivision, because if I press number 3 right now, although it looks pretty okay, but it's missing the seam lines. So the seam lines are the ones, right, that we need to see coming down from this cushion. So we know that this particular edge here, okay, requires a seam line, and this seam line will run all the way across like that, all the way to the bottom like this. and we can give it a bevel. Okay, just a very tiny fraction. We're going to use a small value. Okay, we're going to use this one is a bit too sensitive, so I'm just going to use a very tiny value. Okay, somehow it's snapping, which is very annoying. Okay, I'm using a very small value, 0.01. That means the edge is very close, but at least now I can see the seam line. Okay, you can see the seam line coming down here, and then this look good. Okay, then we need to have a seam line that's running across from the outer to the outer edge. So that means we're going to select the edges, right, that runs across from this face onwards all the way down here. Now we can choose the face, or actually we can choose the entire face loop, right? Then we can apply a bevel to them, bevel the face, and again we're going to use a very small value. And now the edge, right, is much harder, right, like that. Okay, right now the front here doesn't look that very comfortable, so I will select these faces here and try to straighten them. Or actually I'll select the edge here in level 1. Select this edge, maybe this edge as well. Then press R to scale and then just flatten them. But remember to pull them out slightly. And I want to have a slight bulge out forward. So select a vertex and pull it out forward a little bit. Let's press number 3 and see what it looks like now. Now the material is too transparent, so I'm going to go to material attributes and then reduce the transparency and see what the chair looks like. Okay, it's not looking like 100% like this one, but at least I managed to get something close, right? So this point here in the flap, right, I notice is tapering until it is slightly thinner. So I'm going to follow the taper. So I'll go to level 1 and I'm going to select this face, these faces, and just scale them. Okay, now this one is a bit tricky because right now, okay, there's a very tiny edge over there, so I will have to move this very carefully. So I think I'll have to do this one by one. So select these two edges, then move them in, then select these two vertices. Yeah, there are two vertices there because just now we did a bevel already. Okay, so that this one is tapered slightly. Alright, now, yeah, it's looking a little bit closer to what I want. Okay, the backrest, you can see that here is bulging out slightly. So although there's this part here is straight, but I noticed that this area here is bulging out, so I will select this edge, then just pull it out slightly. Then now you can see we have our back support. Maybe this section here, pull out slightly. Right, now the cushion looks much more comfortable. We got the head support. Now, I think this edge support area here can do with another edge loop cut in the center here, because we need to have another section, right, that is bulging out here. Okay, looking good. Alright, so now I'm going to build the other parts, right, that is supporting the chair. So this chair has a very unique structure here. Again, I have to go and jump out and take a look at what the structure looks like. So I'm going to look at pictures, right, which show the supporting structure. So we see that there's a triangular shape and there's a pivot point over here. So I'm trying to visualize what this shape looks like. So I'm imagining that this shape is looking something like this, right? And then there's a pivot point that supports this. So basically I need to create this shape. So always, right, reference, look at your pictures carefully before you actually do something. Alright, so I'm going to build that out again. Everything, right, can be built from cubes. so from a cube, and we're just going to align it to this location. Then I'm going to isolate view, and I know that this shape, right, roughly looks like this. Then scale it up. Then I'm going to select these edges here and apply a bevel face. Give it a number of segments, chamfer on miter segments, 1, 2, maybe a few more segments here, not too much. You want to give an even number so that we can subdivide this later on. Okay, something like this. Okay, so now get off isolate view. Okay, and then we're going to apply the same material to this object. Existing material, so X-ray material, material attributes, just to increase the transparency. Okay, so this piece is a little bit too thick, so I'm just going to make it thinner until it's about the same size. And there seems to be a bevel that runs across on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to, okay, I'm not sure how wide this thing is supposed to be. So maybe I have made it a bit too wide. Let's go to the front view. There you go. So I made it too wide already, so the thing just extends all the way here. So not a problem. I'll select this face and then just scale this down. Keep scaling it until it's the same width, and also it's the same height. Okay, so it's tilted upwards like that. Select the edge here. Okay, somehow it doesn't want to select the edge. Okay, so there's a quick way to do that. Select the top face here, and then apply the bevel. This one I'm just going to give it two segments. Then a low number of fraction. Okay, so basically right now I have this shape already. Okay, so this supporting structure is done. I'm going to put the pivot point, maybe holding down the D, put it right about here. Then press D again to get out. Okay. So put this one here, then rotate it upwards like that. And somehow the front, okay, there's a metal base, right? I guess it's attaching it to the chair. So again, we're just going to create another cube, just attach this portion bottom to the chair. So this one, I think I'm just going to create a plane and apply reduce the segments, scale it up, and then this will be the in-between object, right, between the chair and that platform. Okay, there needs to be an interface between this part here and the chair. Okay, good. So now, creation of the, anyway, this portion here, right, supports the, what do you call that, the armrest. So maybe for this plane, again, I'm going to just duplicate, I'm going to split this plane, right, into two. Then delete away half. Everything always delete away half. Delete. Duplicate special. Edit duplicate special. Okay, it's not duplicating special. Sit down. I'm going to freeze the transformation and rotation. Delete away these three. Then duplicate special. Okay, I deleted the wrong side. That's why it's not working. Let me undo. Okay, just now I did not delete the plane right in the correct orientation. That's why it didn't work. So let's try one more time. Isolate, select. Yeah, it should be this way. Just now I was cutting this way, that's why it didn't work. So one more time. Middle mouse click across here. Go to face mode. Delete away the face. Edit, duplicate special. Yeah, now it works. Alright, so from this piece, right, I will extend the shoulder rest, or rather the arm rest. Okay, so I can now grab this piece here, then grab the vertices and extend it all the way here. And you can see that the shoulder rest, right, is coming out from there. Okay, so a little bit out of alignment, but that is fine. Okay, I'm going to assign all the objects, right, with the X-ray material, so I can see through. Yeah, so I can see that the armrest, right, is coming out from this section here, so I will insert a couple of edge loops for this plane, maybe here and here, so that I can select this face and extrude it out. So go to the front view, extrude one section out, and then holding down the shift, we're going to extrude another section. But before I do that, change the move, and hold down the shift and extrude another section. Okay, so this is where we will extrude the arm or shoulder rest. So one section here, and you'll notice that this one, right, is a bit thinner, so I'm going to do a offset extrude. Okay, and then change to move and do a quick extrude for the armrest. Okay, we're going to do another extrude again. Extrude, or Control E, extrude. Then I'm going to extrude out slightly. Use the scale tool. Use scale tool, right? Non-uniform, scale it out slightly. Then press Control E again to extrude, so you can push out the armrest. So I'm doing this very, very roughly first. Okay, extrude out another section in the move. Press W to go to move. Hold down the shift and could do a quick extrude. Use scale to scale this up slightly. And then for the armrest, right, we can just create two flat pieces, right, and then place on top. Okay, I'm gonna assign this with the X-ray material. So every piece has an X-ray material now. Now for the armrest, again, just a cube will do. And we are going to go to edit mode. Now, in order to make sure that both sides has the same armrest, I'm going to show you this trick. Go over to vertex, select all the vertices, and shift them to one side. And then if I go back to object mode, the pivot points is in the center here. Then we can duplicate special. There should be another cube on the other side now. Okay, so I'm going to create a very simple armrest. Okay, let's take a look at what the shape looks like. So it's just a rounded corner armrest, slightly tapered to the back. So I'm going to go to edit mode, edit the vertices, then scale it up. Then these vertices behind, just bring it back a little bit. Then the front, I'm going to extrude one face, then scale it inwards like this. Just a simple armrest. Bring it up, then apply a bevel. Just give it about 3 segments, or maybe 4 segments. Okay, 4 segments might be a bit too much. Just 2 segments will do. Then this corner here, and this corner here, also another bevel. I think this is enough. 1 segment is enough. And we're going to fix the topology by connecting these two. So everything is 4-sided. So if I subdivide this, right, it should look nice. Okay, the back, right, I need another supporting edge loop, so I will cut one more edge loop here. Go into edge selection mode. Press Q to select. Double click to select this loop, right? I want to force it to be straight using scale. So that now if I subdivide this, it should look a little bit better. Okay, I want this area here to be rounded a bit as well. So I'm going to select this corner, shift select this corner by double clicking, and also apply a bevel. And yeah, so same as the front. This vertex and this vertex, shift right mouse click and connect it. We want everything four-sided. Okay, so now this one looks good. The bottom is not flat enough for me, so I'm going to apply a bevel, very close bevel at the bottom. Select all the faces here. Do a bevel face single segment fraction, maybe 0.001, very small value. Okay, I think this is too small. 0.001. Okay, so if I subdivide this, it's fine. Okay, except that we have an issue here. Okay, let me undo that. The fraction is too low already. Let me just increase the value. Yeah, like that. Okay, so at least I can do my fix the topology, connect the components. Remember, you want to keep everything four-sided. So select this, and then connect the components. Alright, so now this cushion is done. Okay, not the best looking one, but for temporary use, I think it's good enough. So we can now select both the mirror and the objects, right, and then move it into place. Now, if you want this object, right, to move further out the same way, we cannot just select this and move. The other side will not follow. You have to go into component mode, select all the vertices and move, and then you see the other one will follow. So I'm just going to put this one here, and we have our armrest. Okay, the armrest needs to be forward a little bit more, and okay, now they're in position. Okay, we have the support. Okay, I've not really rounded off this section yet, and let's see. Maybe these group of vertices, I'll bring it down. And this section needs to be lower a little bit more. Scale this forward a little bit more. Okay, again, this one is very rough. I'll come and work on this later. But right now, I'll just build the, we already have the base. If I press Alt 5, I can turn on wireframe and make it a little bit easier to see. We have this cylinder over here that adjusts the, what do you call it, the pivot, the row of pivoting. So I'm just going to create a cylinder. Go to edge mode, double click on this. Okay, we can't seem to select the edge around there. For some reason, this doesn't seem to work anymore. Okay, there you go. So double click to select this edge and then go to bevel it. Give it about 2 segments. Reduce the fraction, not too much. Actually, I'm just going to use 0 segment because I want to create this shape, because there's a, if you look at this cylinder over here, yeah, adjust the fraction a little bit. Again, I'm just going to block this shape out first for now. Then grab these vertices and make that a little bit taller. Overall, I'm going to scale this down like that. Then rotate it until it matches the orientation of my reference. Okay, right now this is local rotation. That's why I can scale it quite evenly. So I'm just going to put this one here. Alright, then now the hydraulic post, which is quite straightforward. Just a cylinder. I'm going to use the default number of cylinder. Holding down the control, grabbing the top cube, right, you can change the diameter scaling. I'm going to freeze the transformation for this. I don't want to freeze the rotation. I only want to freeze the scale. So if you want to freeze only the scale, you have to go to modify, freeze transformation. Then uncheck the rotate and translate, and then freeze transform. So this object, right, the scale has been reset. Now for the hydraulic post, just going to apply the X-ray material, and then I'm going to adjust the scale. Hold down the control and grab the top, right, so we can adjust the diameter of the scale. Go to vertex, bring it down here. Then these, I'm going to insert one edge loop here, and then another closed edge loop here, one edge loop here, another closed edge loop here. Okay, then you can use face selection mode. Press Q to select one face, shift double click to select this face loop, use scale, then holding down the control and non-uniform, scale it up. Go over to vertex mode, grab the bottom vertices, and then just bring down the column like that. So right now we created one step of the hydraulic post. Next, we're going to select these row of faces. Select one face, holding down the shift, the adjacent face, double click, press R, hold down the control, and then scale up the section here like this. Okay, and then I think we have a tapered section that's connected to this this mechanism here. So I want to select the top faces and extrude them out. So use selection conversion, go to vertex, select this vertex, holding down the control, right mouse click to faces, then shift right mouse click, extrude. Then we can extrude one section all the way in. Press R to scale and scale uniformly so that we have that tapered post like that. Alright, more or less our hydraulic legs are done. Again, this one is just a very simplified version. Now we build the legs. Okay, so using the same method that we have done before. So this one, there are five legs sticking out from this. So we're going to create a low resolution cylinder of 10 sides. So shift right mouse click, go to cylinder, go over to the cylinder and change the subdivisions to 10. Alright, we're going to delete away the rest, because we're going to use duplicate special and to create the rest of the references. So we're going to first select this first, and we're going to do some adjustments. We need to rotate in such a way, or actually we need to get one section that will always show the two offset faces, right, that's lined up to this area. So we're going to keep this section, but I'm going to delete the rest. Go ahead and select all these faces and delete them. We don't need this face. Okay, we only need this section, right, to create our chair. And then I think the top and bottom face, we can delete them for now. Alright, so we're going to create one section of the leg first by selecting these two faces. Then extrude. You can use move tool to extrude the section, or you can use the quick extrude to do that as well. I'm going to flatten this, then scale it down, and then move it down. Okay, I don't have the reference with me, but it doesn't matter. I just want to create this basic shape first. Okay, so now we're going to do a duplicate special. I'm going to get rid of these inner faces here. Don't need this. And we're going to go over to the top view. Because we deleted these from the original cylinder, the pivot point should still be here. Now we're going to duplicate this like 5 times. So we're going to use duplicate special. And wow, I did something very dangerous. I did not save my file. So let me just save scene as Secret Lab chair. So always save in case your file crashes. Alright, so now we're going to duplicate special so that we have exactly five legs. So use edit duplicate special. So we're going to duplicate another 4. We're going to reset this duplicate special. We're going to duplicate 4, and I already know that we have to duplicate it along the y-axis, and we're going to 360 divided by 5, I think it is 72. Then we're going to create an instance, then we can duplicate special. Then we have these legs all nicely aligned. So we're going to concentrate on this particular original feet. I want to turn on the reference back again. So under show, isolate, select, turn it off. The legs are very thin and the bottom seems to be very flat. So I will go over to my front view and then select these vertices. Okay, this one makes it a little bit tricky because I will need to hide the duplicates first. Okay, to hide, right, you can just press H to hide them. Later we can unhide them again. So we're going to go back to my front view. Okay, you can see the legs here is very, very thin. So I will select the bottom vertices. Then I will use the scaling tool to really scale to flatten it. And then I will include these vertices and move them up so that I got roughly the same angle as the reference here. And the bottom here can be thinner, much thinner. And if I look carefully, right, there seems to be there's a bevel that goes around the edge of this chair, and it's tapering very, very slightly. So I'll go to the top view of this chair here, or the leg here. Then I'll just taper in a little bit. And I know that the corners, right, the edges here are all, the edge here, this edge, are all beveled. So I'm going to select these corners here and bevel them. And then for the bottom faces, right, I'll delete them later. So, well, actually I can delete them now. Go over the face, select the bottom faces and delete them. We don't need them. Go back to edges and select the corner edges, like these corner edges here, because we want to apply a bevel to it. Shift right mouse click, apply a bevel. Give it maybe 2 segments, 2 should be enough, and reduce the fraction. So now you can see that we have a nice rounded shape like that. Very similar to what we see on the leg. And I can see that this is still very much thinner. I will grab the vertices here and here and just push it make it as thin as I can, and then maybe this one is actually tapering upwards a little bit as well. Then these group of vertices are coming down a little bit like that. Yeah, now it's starting to look like this one. Okay, so I'm happy with this. So next, I want to maybe stitch all the 5 foot together already. So I'm going to unhide the duplicates. So select in your outliner under display, then show selection. Then now they're visible again. And we can actually stitch them together already. I think this is good enough for now, so I will combine them together first. So select all the legs, then mesh combine, so they become a single mesh. But remember, these parts are still not stitched together. So we're going to do a merge. Go to vertex, then select all the vertices here in the center, then shift right mouse click, merge vertices, make sure the distance is low, then merge. So those overlapping vertices should be merged together. Alright, next we want to stitch this area so that they are stitched together, so we can actually merge these as well. Merge vertices. So we have to do that step by step. I'm going to press G to repeat last command. G, repeat last command. G and repeat last command. Alright, so now we have sort of stitched the hole already. We're going to select the open edge here by double clicking on this, and then we can extrude the edge inwards, or we can fill up the hole first. So shift right mouse click, fill hole, so that now there should be a hole over here. Then we can select the center face here, extrude, and then do an offset so that we can create nice 4-sided faces here. Okay, we have some very, very close stitching here. So we want to spread this out, so we're going to use our convert to or circularize. So I'm going to apply a circularize. You can use the circularize component. so that now it will spread out all the vertices into a nice circle. Then we can do another extrude face, then offset inwards. Then we have our nice looking base. And let me just scale this up a little bit more. Oops. Yeah, I'm confusing my shortcut key with another software. Okay, then pull this up slightly. Okay, so now we are ready for modeling the, or rather we can move the chair, right, the legs using the reference. Right now you can see the legs are really too big. So I'm going to center the pivot first. So select the object in object mode, then use the center pivot. For some reason, right, the center pivot doesn't want to cooperate. It's not centering to the center here. So let me go and change the freeze transformation. I'm going to freeze the transformation, delete history, freeze transformation, then try to center the pivot again. Okay, this is really weird. Normally if I center the pivot, okay, I think I know why. Because it's got this weird orientation, it refuses to come over to the center here. So not a problem. We're going to manually center the pivot. Isolate select again. So go over to the top view. Then we're going to press D to enable our, what do you call it, pivot mode, editing mode. Hold on to X. Then we're going to snap it right into the center. So this is the center that I want. Okay. Then press D again. Now we force it, the pivot point to be at the center. This is very important because I need to scale this thing down so that it will fit our chair. So it didn't allow me to do that just now. So let's go to the front view and then adjust the scale one more time until it's roughly the same shape. Okay, and then I can move the legs right up to connect to my hydraulic post. Now I can freeze the transformation. Alright, and then the rest of the objects, right, I can just temporarily, not temporary rather, but reassign them back with the right, oops, undo, I don't want to do that. Right mouse click, assign existing material Lambert 1. Okay, why did I extrude? I didn't want to extrude. Why does it show that I'm extruding? For some reason there is still another extrude over here. I do not want to extrude. Why is it extruding for me? Yeah, what is this doing? Okay, let me just delete away the history. Okay, now it doesn't extrude anymore. Okay, I just want to select multiple objects and assign it back to Lambert 1 material. Alright, so you can see now we're only missing the wheels. Okay, it seems that the legs, right, could go down a little bit more and scale down a little bit smaller. Just scale it down just a bit smaller. Then freeze the transformation. Okay, wheels, straightforward. Just create a cylinder. Okay, and then just move it out of the way. I'm just going to do a quick wheels because I think this video is long enough. And split this into two. Okay, and then delete away half of the vertices, or rather faces, like so. Freeze transformation. In object mode, you need to freeze transformation. Okay, this step is very important. Otherwise, right, when I apply the duplicate special, right, it will not work. Now, duplicate special, I need to reset again. Edit duplicate special. Sorry, where is it? Duplicate special, reset this again because just now I used it to create my legs. So scale -1 in the x-axis. I want to create a copy. Oh, sorry, an instance. Then duplicate special. So the special should be on the other side. Where is it? Didn't work. No, it did not work. Let me undo that. Okay, I think my duplicate special, right, did not reset the transformation to rotate. That's why. So I'm gonna reset this again and freeze transformation. Freeze transformation. Okay, still does. It's not allowing me to do it that. Okay, I'm gonna delete history. Modify freeze transformation. What does it say? Cannot freeze below transform cylinder due to multiple instance. Okay, I'm selecting the wrong cylinder. I'm gonna delete this one. Delete. Okay, undo. Okay, this is the one that I want to freeze. Okay, one more time. Freeze transformation. Yes. Then modify freeze transformation. Turn this 2 on again and freeze. Yes. Now when I duplicate special, yeah, it should work now. So I should expect to see, yeah. So now I can see the other half. Right, so that part, right, will always catch students quite a lot of times. Now I need to select this edge loop, then apply a bevel, then apply a smaller fraction, give it a couple of segments, and reduce the amount like that. Then the center part of the wheel, I'm going to insert one edge loop here. Insert one edge loop here, and then insert another edge loop here because we want to create the gap for the wheel. So go and select the loop here, then scale it, press W, scale, sorry, R to scale, holding down the control and then grab the x-axis, scale it down like that. Grab the vertices over here, then move them really close so we can create this illusion of a wheel. Actually, you can see that the wheel, there's a separation and then there's a gap in between. So I'm going to make this gap a little bit bigger. Then the wheel's thinner, like that. Okay, based on the reference here. I'm going to apply a edge loop that runs across here to make this area tighter. Select the face loop here, then move it inwards like that. So now we have our wheel. Okay, I'm going to adjust the thickness a little bit more until we roughly get something that I like. Okay, so again, I'm just going to cheat by just putting a cylinder offset. I'm going to join these two halves together now. So get this, select this duplicate and delete it. Then we're going to bring this wheel until it's in the center point of the pivot. Holding down X, then move it until it's right in the center here. Then we're going to do a mesh mirror. Mirror which axis? Okay, by default it's always the x-axis. So when you mirror, it's going to join the center together. It's going to merge the border together. So right now we have a single object. Okay, and I can now scale this down. So now we have a wheel. So next we want to create a small cylinder. Really small one. We don't need so many segments. Maybe 12 will do. Because nobody is going to see this. It's actually at the bottom. So you choose the resolution and detail of your object. Because from a certain distance, right, a lot of the detail will be gone already. By the time you render it, right, if you feel that you don't need this extra detail, right, then you don't have to model it in. Or worse, right, detail that's never going to see the light of day. For example, these faces, right, is never going to see the light of day, right? So I'm going to hold down tab and then choose these faces. Then I can delete them away. Even the faces on top here, nobody is going to see them. So hold down to tab and then paint and select the faces here and delete them. So we got a hollow tube here. Then we can just stick it down like that. Scale it down a little bit more. Okay, so now I have this coaster wheel, which I'm just gonna parent to the wheel. So this piece, select this piece, select the wheel, then press P. So now I have a wheel, and I'm just going to attach it to my legs. So I'm going to select the legs and the wheel both at the same time and isolate them both, and so that I can now duplicate and set the wheels. So I got one wheel here, so I just want to put one wheel right in the center here. Then Shift D, duplicate another one. Or you can just hold on to Shift and clone another one. It works the same also. So I got my wheels duplicated. Alright, so we are coming nearly to the end. Okay, now the wheels are in the wrong orientation. I'm just going to select this and then move it out. Oops. Okay, we should only select the parent front view. So drag a box until only the parents are selected. Then we not have the pivot point or fly out like this. Yes. So now I will get out of the isolate view, and you can see that our chair is like 80% done. The wheels now look a little bit too small for me, so I'm going to select all of them, then scale them up slightly. So press R and then maybe scale them up a little bit bigger. Okay, now the wheels makes more sense in terms of the scale. And finally, this is the result. Okay, but remember, our chairs, right, still make out two halves. So if we want them to be joined together, and since they're in the central, we're going to delete away the duplicates in the half, like that. This one we're going to keep. This one also delete. Then we're going to apply a mesh mirror. Actually, right, before I do that, I should not have deleted this first. I'm going to save a copy. So in case I change my mind, I want to change the design of the chair, right? I don't have to go and delete away the half. Okay, so now I got a backup. Then now I can just delete away the halves. Then I'm going to apply a mesh mirror. Mesh mirror. Repeat last command, press G. Then repeat last command. So now they are stitched together as one object. And then this is the chair that is about, I'll say 75 to 80% done, because I haven't really worked on the armrest yet. So you can see that if you are focused and if you know the tools, okay, I'm still missing the flaps right here. Okay, a couple of flaps. Okay, maybe just to humor, just to make this a little bit more complete, let's just quickly model a flap out from this. Scale this down. Rotate this 90 degrees. And just make it a little bit smaller. Attach it to the side here. Okay, this one can still be smaller, like that. Looking at the reference, go to vertex mode, just pull out this section. Then I'm going to insert a couple of extrude, one here. Then go to face section mode. Then extrude, but extrude inwards. Okay, and then for that flap, right, I'm going to select these faces. Hold down the control to faces, and then I'm going to extrude a small group of faces. Then I'm going to use scale. Right now I'm just going to cheat a little bit and then extrude again. Insert one extrude here, because I'm going to select the bottom faces, then pull out a flap. So this right now I'm just cheating. I'm just doing this very, very quickly. and extrude the face. So now I got my flap. Okay, not the best looking one, but at least now I got one adjustment flaps over here. Okay, let's try to get it to match the scale. Roughly like that. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we already spent a lot of time on this already. Then the diameter of this group, scale, and then make it narrower. Okay, so we got one flap, and then the other flap we will just duplicate. Use move, duplicate, then rotate this 180 degrees in the y-axis. Oops, because I did not freeze transformation, I think I have to manually rotate this 180 degrees. Yeah, this way. 180 in the local x-axis. Let's put this one out here. Okay, usually this one is offset. Okay, if I look at the, oh, actually it could be in the same direction, but I'm going to offset it slightly. Okay, make it a bit more realistic. Alright, so including the flaps now, I got my chair ready. So actually this flap will do, because again, at certain angles, right, you don't even see these flaps all the time anyway. Then just to make sure the chair sticks right, I'm just going to slightly overlap the bottom cushion. Okay, because there should be a metal structure, right, that combines these parts together. And then I still haven't modeled this area here. Okay, but the main shape is out already, so I'll say like this thing is about 75%, 80% done. The next thing is UV layout, and then applying textures, and then we are done. Right, with that I'll stop the video now. It's gone long enough.